Hello, everybody. Welcome into Talking Fitchburg on this freezing cold day of Wednesday, January 26, 2022. I know you all circled this day as you knew it was going to be the coldest day. Or maybe you knew yesterday. Maybe you knew 2 days. Whatever. It's cold out there. And Andrew, as we start out the top of the show here, thought maybe we just talk to you a little bit today. Make sure that people know you're safe, since I keep telling them that you're somewhere that we don't even know where you are.
Yeah, I'm here. We're safe.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And do you know how cold it? You guys have like a thermometer? I know you don't have a weather radio, so we've already established that in the 5 years we've been doing this. Still disappointed in you on that, by the way. But do you have any way of checking the temperature outside your household?
Other than an app on the phone, no.
Dude. So now I got to get you a weather station or a thermometer and a weather radio. It can't keep beating up on you if I can't get you like one of those items.
Yeah.
I said on the update here this morning that it was negative 19 below here at the Crosby household in freezing cold Dane County. And it was cold all over the place. Andrew, you take your kiddos to school like I do, or at least one to the bus stop, one to the school, and
Yep.
It's one of those cold weathers where it's just when you step outside it hurts. And all that.
Yes, it was very cold. You know, the boys leave the door open to the garage when they are getting ready, and it's like, dude, it is so cold, quit it. Or letting the dogs out in the morning, you know, it is definitely chilly.
And what was their reaction? First, let's just quickly, with the kids, what was their reaction when they stepped outside? What did they say?
Do we have to go to school?
That's great. And how about the pets? How long did you time them? How long they were out there?
Not
in and out?
Yeah, in and out pretty quick. It was went to the bathroom and we're back at the door. Let me in.
They're like, yeah, putting their paws up, where they had their paws up like right away, like, oh my god.
Oh, it's cold. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, Carson, my youngest, he just went. So he's still learning, and Lily, she's just not aware to things happening around her.
Yep, it's cold.
Like, it's cold. I'm like, there could be a tornado. I would say this at the bus stop the other day. There could be a tornado that went by, and she'd be like, what?
What? Who? What was that? Yeah. My kids are the same, just oblivious to things.
Yeah, I don't know how you teach that, so... She's 5. I got plenty of time, but time's running out.
Our almost 10-year-old still is that way. So I mean, like, hey, do you remember this? No. It's like we just talked about it 5 minutes ago. No, didn't. Don't remember.
Do you know where you were 5 minutes ago?
No.
What'd you do at school today?
No.
No.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Their brain are frozen all year round. We'll just leave it at that. We do have a great show coming up today. We'll be getting you updated on the headlines today, and Digest will be talking about both proclamation. We'll take you out to last night's proclamation for African American History Month. Plus, we'll check in with SaltWise. It's Salt Awareness Week. We'll talk about that and hopefully save your pocketbook and your sidewalks and the water, and you know, you can see where this is going. Plus, we'll check in with Ventrona EMS on their annual update. Jeff Doslick's here with that. So let's get to the headlines, and we start with the mayor's proposed Arbited closure investment plan. It was sent out. Was made available on the website. The mayor's proposed ARPA-TID closure investment plan is now available on the website for viewing. The investment plan will be discussed at a special finance committee meeting on February 2nd. To access the investment plan, go to our website, fitchburgwi.gov, and also includes a schedule, which we're going to show you right now. So this is the schedule as it will play out here. Coming up, we'll have a special talk about, again, this plan coming up on February 2nd. And then moving on here for other dates, you have your, you have them laid out here, but public involvement's important. Amendments will be submitted here as well. It's sort of working as the same process as we do with our capital improvement plan. Kind of some of those same guidelines there. So learn more about it. That is online. And of course, you can catch all of those meetings on our Gov channel for as this plays out. Healthy Neighborhood Grant Program application period is now open. Check this out. City of Fitchburg is pleased to announce that the January 25th, the application period for the 2022 Healthy Neighborhoods Grant Program is now open through February 22nd of 2022. All interested nonprofit organizations that meet the program's can't even say the eligibility requirements are encouraged to apply. Please head out to the link for further details on the program, including eligibility requirements and the application information. Applicants are encouraged, by the way, to review those as they do change each year. So it has changed from last year's application process. So make sure you do check that out before you sign up. Don't overlook the risk of carbon monoxide poisoning, especially during these very cold spells if you're using alternative heat and source. It says here, we all are trying to stay warm in Wisconsin, but as we do, don't overlook the risk of carbon monoxide poisoning. Take immediate action if you have carbon monoxide detector sounds, or if you have headaches, fatigue, dizziness, shortness of breath, nausea, or confusion. Get fresh air immediately. Call your local fire department and move everyone outdoors into the fresh air. Do not re-enter the building until it has been inspected and declared safe. You can get more tips to avoid CO poisoning. That information is at www.dhs.wisconsin.gov/air/CO. And yeah, you definitely want to stay safe. Even if you're grilling. I don't know that a lot of people are grilling. If you're grilling right now, you're pretty impressive. You have my respect, but you may want to think twice before going out there. But those grills need to be away from the house because that smoke gets in the house. That's CO. Got to be careful with that. All right, moving on. Fishing instructor needed for the Fitchburg Recreation Department. And I said this morning. Andrew and I, we're fishing buddies. We're buddies in a lot of ways, but we're fishing buddies. And we both wish we could do this. And we have great ideas, which probably aren't going to work for this program. But either way, anglers who are interested in leading kids program ages 10 to 14 to teach the basics of physics, you need to contact our friend Cece at the Recreation Department. Her email is on the screen. It's a great opportunity for someone to share their passion and knowledge of the youth and make some moolah for more fishing gear. Just don't tell your loved one. As an independent contractor, I'm just doing it for free. What are you talking about, honey? Please share this post if you know somebody who is interested. That's the information from the rec department. Also, park shelter rentals are now open. If you haven't already booked for the summer, reservations are filling up. They always do. FitchburgWI.gov/recreation. You can check out all the park shelters and the ones that are available for the rental and the fees associated with that. So want to make sure you get on that if you are planning an event. Our shelters are really popular here in Fitchburg, so please take care of that right away. All right, finally ending on a awesome note here. Fitchburg Police Department helping with some shoveling. Other assignments as assigned. That's what I call this. They call it community help, and I think it's a great one. Officers serve the community in various ways each day. They typically goes unnoticed. Yesterday, Senior Center social worker captured Officer Jacobson, who was later joined by Officer Rettler, for a hard at work helping to clear the snow from a driveway of a senior citizen. Says here, we enjoy being a part of great City of Fitchburg team that aims to provide high level of service to everyone, especially those who could use extra hand. Great work, Officer Jacobson and Officer Rettler. Great job. And yeah, you can come over to my house next time and help me. Same with Andrew, too. He's got a longer driveway than I do, so take a little bit more than two people to get it done. But pretty cool story there, and glad we're able to share that with the community. All right, that does it for our headlines. Coming up next, we open up the digest. We'll be taking out to last night's proclamation and talking about using salt right here on TF.
It takes all of us to slow the spread of the coronavirus. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and stay home unless absolutely necessary. Use a delivery service for essential items like food and medicine. If you must make essential trips, stay 6 feet apart from other people. Wear a cloth face covering and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds as often as possible. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantore here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe, start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
Hey, boss. Okay.
Said I'm fine.
Put me to bed, see you in the morning. With the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it. And we lost it. In my head, in my head, in my head. Where you at, underlay, in my head.
Hey, son.
Hey, Bob.
You know you can talk to me.
Yeah.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us.
Ready!
That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu. And especially this year, no one has time to get sick. Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg in the Digest, and today we've got a couple of different stories we're working for you. First, we're going to take you out to proclamation last night at Common Council in honor of African American History Month. The mayor read a proclamation, and we want a chance for you to hear that proclamation right now.
And first is mayoral proclamation. We don't have anyone here online, it looks like, for part of this, but recognizing February is African American History Month. Whereas, during African American History Month, we celebrate the many achievements and contributions made by African Americans to our economic, cultural, spiritual, and political development. And whereas African American History Month grew out of the establishment in 1926 of Negro History Week by Carter G. Woodson and the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. And whereas the 2022 national theme for the observance is Black Health and Wellness, and looks at how American healthcare has often underserved the African American community. And whereas the observance of African American History Month calls our attention to the continued need to battle racism and build a society that lives up to its democratic ideals. And whereas the City of Fitchburg continues to work toward becoming an inclusive community in which all citizens, past, present, and future, are respected and recognized for their contributions and potential contributions to our community, the state, the country, and the world. And whereas the City of Fitchburg is proud to honor the history and contributions of African Americans in our community throughout our state and nation. Now, therefore, in recognition of African Americans, past and present, in our community, I, Aaron Richardson, Mayor of the City of Fitchburg, Wisconsin, do hereby proclaim February 2022 to be African American History Month, and encourage all citizens to celebrate our diverse heritage and culture, and continue our efforts to create a world that is more just, peaceful, and prosperous for all.
All right, there you have it. That proclamation is on our social media page. You can check that out. And we'll have more stories to share all month long for African Heritage Month, which is really cool. It's a good time to share some great stories here, and we're excited to do that on TF. All right, turning our attention to SALT. It is Salt Awareness Week, January 24th through the 28th, and got a couple of stories to share with you, and maybe to get you to think twice. They have changed my outlook. I have not thrown salt now in the last 2.5 years. I've made the change, and it works. I'll say this, that I'm one person, but if all of us can work together, it's important to save that fresh water, and that's where we start with our first one. 1 teaspoon of salt, that's all it takes to make up 5 gallons of water toxic for freshwater organisms. I say it again, 1 teaspoon of salt is all that it takes to make up 5 gallons of water toxic for freshwater organisms. Over 40 lakes and streams in Wisconsin have been designated as impaired by high salt concentration. So when you're thinking about throwing that salt, you only need to throw a little bit of it, but really think of that it's just 1 teaspoon for 5 gallons. That is a pretty crazy number there. And it's an important one that, if you can find other ways of breaking through that ice or breaking through that slipperiness, whatever the case may be, salt it's got to be used sparingly. And I like this next one because it's a good reminder that salt may appear to disappear, but it doesn't go away. Be freshwater champion. And that's what this graphic is all about. And we're hearing more and more about these stories, and I love this, that after an event and you do salt, have you really thought about sweeping it up and reusing it or getting rid of it? But don't let it get into our waterways. And that's super important as well. So after an event, if you do salt, or over salt, whatever the case may be. If you have leftovers from the wintertime, don't wash it off your driveway. Sweep it up, save it for another use. Super important. Other things that impact all year round, water softener salt. That impacts the waterways. And in fact, I was reading a story through all of this, and I would encourage you to go to Saltwise, their Facebook page, because they've got some great tips out there. But the water softener, they're trying to eliminate some of that as they put it back into the fresh water through our water treatment plant in Dane County, which is pretty neat. And they've had different seminars all this week. I encourage you to go check those out and learn more. But just think twice before you throw that salt. That's what's most important about this week. All right, coming up next, we're going to open up our guest segment. I check in with Jeff Doslick as we recap 2021 at Fitchburg EMS and look forward to the near future as well. Next right here on TF.
You could be spreading the coronavirus without realizing you have it. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and do your part. It's important to limit in-person interaction with anyone outside of your immediate household, but phone and video chat are safe ways to connect. It's also important to limit any social gathering. This advice applies to people of any age, including teens and younger adults. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
Brandon met a girl on a dating app. He finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving.
She must be a keeper.
Well, welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Join me from Fitchrona EMS, Jeff Doslick. Jeff, welcome back to the show. How are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you very much. Good to see you.
What's the like, is there a phrase you guys use or short term like firms? Like what's the code word for you guys? Frems? Heading over to Frems today. Yep, got to shift over at Frems.
That's probably what it is.
All right.
For me, it's work.
Yeah.
Headed to work. Honey.
You're heading to work. I say I'm heading to Fact TV, so that's how that works. Jeff, we're gonna talk a little bit about a little bit of last year, a little bit looking forward, and everything in between today. But first and foremost, as we look back to 2021, what would be your sum up from your eyes as far as the year of Friends?
Wow. There's a lot of stuff to talk about with Frems, but time is a little bit short for us. So I would say, I would speak on behalf of Patrick today as well. It was the busiest year in the history of Fitchburg EMS. We did 4,184 calls last year, and that was a 20.4% increase over the previous year. And we even took out the calls. That doesn't include the calls that we actually took at the Alliant Energy Center. And as you know, we did the standby out there when they started initially doing vaccinations and the big lines. We were the ambulance provider that was out at the Alliant Energy Center. And we had somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 or so calls out there that we took care of. So I think the biggest takeaway for both of us and for the service in general is the fact that it was an extremely busy year across the board. Just looking here, we had 1 month, which was January of last year, where we did 299 calls. And we thought, oh, that's an 8% decrease over the prior year. And then from that point on, it just kind of skyrocketed. And as of, I think the biggest month we had was in September, where we had a 50% increase over the year before. So there wasn't a month that we were under 300 calls for the remaining of the year from February to December. So crazy year all around for a lot of reasons, but call volume was certainly one of them.
So it was basically another full year into the pandemic, if you will. What are some of the challenges that Fitchrona is still facing when it comes to the pandemic and the ambulance service?
So we're still taking all of the precautions. So the biggest concern for us now is making sure that staff isn't complacent and wearing PPE and things like that. It's a big challenge for us. I shouldn't say big, it's a challenge for us. We're fortunate enough that we can get that PPE, which we weren't able to get initially. So we had to do some conservation on our N95s and our KN95s and our surgical masks. That doesn't seem to be as big of an issue for us now. Staff is very aware of the calls that we go on and the potential for catching COVID. So they take all the precautions that they can. I think they do an excellent job at making sure we're triaging those patients appropriately. And we went through the process of buying PAPRs, the air purifying system that if you watch the news in UW and they're in there. So we bought PAPRs for each of the ambulances, so crews have the option of putting a PAPR on if they want to, and some take us up on that and some don't. But I think the biggest challenge is making sure that our staff stays healthy, that we manage our staff if they do happen to come down with COVID or family members do, that we try to manage that appropriately so that they are better and they can come back to work and be healthy. And I would say that's probably the biggest thing we have going forward for us. And then managing call volume, I can talk now into January where we're 12 days in and we're well into the 150s for calls already. So I think those two big things, those two things will be the biggest challenge.
I think going into the mental health of the medics and the staff, how are they holding up with all that? Because you're dealing with a pandemic on the forefront. The backside, you're dealing with twice as many calls so how is everybody holding up on that front?
Yeah, I think for the most part, everybody's doing well. We try to do check-ins. We encourage them to use our employee assistance program that's out there. And, outside of just pure call volume, the pandemic, they have families that they all have to look after as well. And then the acuity level of some of the calls has been pretty high. I mean, a lot of stuff that you see in the news, we've had, we've been out on. So we have to, there's a lot to manage in what we do. And while sometimes each ambulance doesn't do 30 calls a day, and we're not, getting our butts handed to us that way. We do have a lot of high acuity calls. We do wander out into the county to help out with paramedic intercepts and so forth. And usually those are high acuity calls. So I think the staff is doing well. And, certainly we encourage them if they need to reach out to do that so that we can keep them healthy. That's our focus.
Looking back at the call volume, is there things that we need to do better on education? Is it just, I don't necessarily just going to say, is it all COVID? Certainly we don't have time to break down every call that's out there, sure. But as a community and working together, we're all in this together. What can we do as a community to keep safe during this time and still make sure your guys are there to help us out?
Sure. If I took a look at calls for service last year, classified as sick person, that would be the number one, at least through December, and falls are the two biggest ones. So I would say as a community, just, try to stay healthy. There's all kinds of political bandwagons on vaccinations and mask wearing and all of that stuff. And, certainly that's something we're not going to, talk about. But I think that the biggest thing people can do is try to stay healthy. Realize that sometimes going to the emergency room is not going to get you into the hospital and may not get you treatment any faster. Obviously, if you have major medical issues, that's what the ambulance is for. And just being safe. Paying attention to driving, we talked earlier about, slips and falls on ice and all that kind of stuff, just being safe when it comes to that kind of stuff. I wish we could, Patrick and I, when we set our goals up for 2022, talked about the community paramedic program and community outreach. And, for a couple of reasons, COVID being one of them and staffing and, kind of our bandwidth as two managers, that we'll have to limit some of that this year. But certainly if somebody has any questions, they can reach out to us and we'll try to answer them. But just generally just being safe and, paying attention to your health. I mean, it's all easy things to say. I'm not the one that, is perfect at that either, but those things would certainly help, and don't delay. Like, some people, and I don't want people to think don't delay when you have a chest pain and a shortness of breath and that kind of stuff, because we have seen patients that, have died, and family members that said, well, he's had chest pain for, 3 days, but he was afraid to go into the hospital because of COVID, or you guys were busy or whatever. Just call. We'll go. That's what we're here for.
That was what I was just going to comment on, Jeff, that by no means, we are in this together, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to be there and helping together. I don't think it's, knock on wood, we haven't gotten to that point yet of, while it's busy in all communities, certainly with EMS, but, you are all working together as a county too for EMS services. So it's working well, but it's definitely staying busy. Jeff, I hate to put a stop right there, but certainly we'll continue the talk throughout the year. And Happy New Year to you and to Patrick. And please stay safe out there. Tell the staff hi, and thank you so much for the update.
Thank you for bringing us on and always pushing us forward and making us look good.
Well, I don't know about looking good. I mean, we got to get me off the show, then you'll be a star. All right.
We appreciate it.
You betcha. We'll talk soon. Jeff Dostlik, Fitchburg EMS. Check out their Facebook and I almost said YouTube. We put
Twitter,
stuff on
Instagram.
YouTube, Twitter, website. They're all out there, and you can stay up to date on what's going on, and we'll check back with them next month. Take a quick break. More to come. You're watching TF.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So. I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life, but how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have prediabetes, a serious medical condition that puts you at high risk for type 2 diabetes. 1 in 3 American adults has prediabetes, but more than 80% don't know they have it. The good news is, prediabetes can be reversed, and for many people, healthy changes in their daily routine can make a big difference. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantore here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family, and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Wrapping up the show, I want to thank Jeff Dostlik for helping us out and sharing the great information at Fitchburg EMS. I can't thank our public safety workers in Fitchburg and across the country. First responders, you have been amazing, and I don't know how you guys don't burn out, and I know there is burnout, but make sure you thank those public safety workers, frontline workers. They are doing one heck of a job. As we wrap up here, check us out on Facebook, and have a great day.